Hi guys, happy new year and welcome to my first video of 2023. I feel like it's a tiny bit too late to be wishing people a happy new year, but here we are and happy new year. Today I wanted to share something with you that is a bit different, not anything I've really done before, but I want to kind of change my content up a little bit for the new year, and this is the sort of video that I would really enjoy. But before we get started, hi, my name is Sabrina. I largely create beauty, fashion, lifestyle content, but as you can tell by the title, I like to throw a few other bits in there too. So if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe, and please leave me a comment and let me know what you'd like to see in 2023. So as the title suggests, I just want to share with you the best bits of what I watched, read, listened to in 2022. It's not going to be the most articulate video, but I'm going to give it a go, and hopefully if you enjoyed this video, then I might make this a bi-monthly feature. Bi-monthly? Does that mean twice a month or every other month? Whichever the every other month thing is. I can't really make it every month because I don't think I watch enough, or read enough, or listen to enough to warrant that. But if you do like this video, do let me know, and I can do this every other month. So when I say listen, it's very unlikely I'm going to start talking about my favourite music, because the truth is I'm not like a music person. I enjoy music, of course I enjoy music, but I'm not the sort of person that patiently waits for an album. A lot of the times I just listen to podcasts, and that's the truth. Like, I will listen to music probably daily, but that's either in the car or like a song in the kitchen, and I'll just ask Google to play a radio station. Music, I enjoy it, but I much prefer podcasts. I listen to so many podcasts, and 2022 was no different. I've got quite a few that I've been listening to recently that I'd like to talk to, but I'd like to talk through, but I'm going to try and avoid doing that in this video. There was two podcasts which honestly, they're not groundbreaking, they're not going to change your life, but I really enjoy them for just entertainment purposes. I don't like podcasts that are like stories. I just want non-fiction, funny, or relatable, or current podcasts. That's what I want. I'm just gonna go for a few that I listen to quite often. I listen to a lot of like comedians. So Catherine Ryan I listen to. My top one I'm gonna talk about in a minute is by a comedian. I really love food podcasts, so stuff like Table Manners I really enjoy. I really enjoy, what's the one where there's a genie and it's a food one? I'm gonna have to write the name here. I've been listening to that for years. There's quite a few of them I've been listening to for a long time. I really enjoy food podcasts. Jay Rayner has a podcast I quite enjoy, but the highlight for me in terms of podcasts this year is Parenting Hell by Josh Widdicombe and Rob Beckett. I don't have kids, I just really enjoy it. I think it's very funny. It's somewhat relatable, because even if you don't have kids, at least for me, there are kids in my life, and also like, we've all been kids, so I find that it's still somewhat relatable. I cannot recommend it enough. I really love it. I love that it's twice a week. One day is an interview, which I think is typically the Friday, and then the Tuesday they just talk about the general life. Honestly, the general life one maybe isn't the most interesting always. I listened to one today. You might not learn much, if anything. It's just entertainment, it's just funny, it's just light. And if that's what you like, I would really recommend listening to it. Probably even better if you do have kids. They always have excellent guests on it. They're always parents, but famous parents. And again, it's not serious. They're not trying to tell you like how to establish the best morning routine, or I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know what you could be looking for from a podcast. It's just basically talking about how parents have messed up. Really recommend it. And then my second one is Sheerluxe. I am quite a big fan of Sheerluxe, I would say. I really do enjoy their videos. They used to do behind the scenes videos, and I absolutely love those. Those are my number one. Now they do actually do their podcasts on YouTube as well, so often I will watch it rather than listen to it, but sometimes I re-listen, because it's basically like an online magazine but in a podcast form is what I would say. So they will discuss anything from what they've been eating to how they've been achieving their fitness goals, to what they've watched, to what they've read, to where they've been eating, where they've been on holiday, where to buy the best pottery. Like honestly, anything that you might want might come up in this podcast. I just love it. There's usually about 4 people that work for Sheerluxe on the podcast, with 1 host and 3 guests, I guess. Absolutely love it. I often listen to it twice, because I think it's a great source of inspiration if you are looking for somewhere new to eat in London, or somewhere to go on holiday, or a new film to watch or book to read. That's where I get my recommendations from, and I will listen to it twice so that I can so I can jot down the recommendations. And yeah, those are without a doubt, the 2 podcasts that I listen to every single time that there's a new one, and I don't think I've missed a single one this last year, and I've probably gone back and listened to some old ones, or like re-listened to some. And then onto books. I only read 8 books last year. If you guys were here with me during lockdown, I read, I think it was like 11 or 12, maybe 12 or 13 books in 1 month during lockdown, and last year I only managed 8. I'm not trying to beat myself up too much about it. I think that there's times in your life where reading comes really easily. Currently that's not happening to me. I think maybe in the spring and summer I will read a bit more, but at the moment I'm struggling a little bit, and last year I struggled a lot. I haven't read a book since August. I have read a book, I just haven't finished it since August. I am hoping at some point to finish that book. I think maybe at the end of this month I'm going to try and finish that, but like I said, I only read 8. I don't know, I also got a Kindle. Did I get a Kindle last year? I think I got a Kindle last year. I don't know if that's part of the reason why I didn't read, but honestly I don't think so. I think I just wasn't in that reading mood, and I think that's totally fine. But 2 books that I loved. I'll start with my number 2 spot, which was The Ladies' Midnight Swimming Club, which I think was one of the Prime first reads. If you do have Prime and you have a Kindle, or even if you don't have a Kindle and you're quite happy to read it on your phone, they offer 1 free book a month, and I think that's where I got that from, and it was excellent. It's about 3 women who are all different ages and kind of different stages in their life, and their kind of one bonding factor is like late midnight natural water swimming. Is that what it's called? Is it called natural water? I don't know, you know what I mean, I think. I think it was just like a really lovely book, and that's what I needed. And then my number 1 book was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, which has been everywhere. Everyone is talking about it, and I am really looking forward to reading It Starts With Us, which is the second book after It Ends With Us. I've heard it's not as good, but I am really looking forward to it. It's the only book I gave 5 stars to this year. I'll leave you a little list of the other books that I read this year. The book that I haven't quite finished is Sunset by Jessie Cave, I want to say. Other people have really loved it. I think it was just longer than I expected, and that's why I'm struggling with it. And I think that's partly the issue on the Kindle, is that you don't know how long the book is, and this one was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, which is fine, because the book I'm reading at the moment is a monster. Sunset, I've just put it aside. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to finish it. I'm not enjoying it. I'm just not getting through it. Okay, and then on to films and series. I don't really watch films. I do watch films. I don't love films. For me, I love a series. I'm forever looking for another series to watch. Whereas films, yes, I enjoy them, but I'm just not a film person, basically. I feel like you're either a film person or you're not, and I'm not. I'm not a music person, I'm not a film person. I am a series person and a podcast person. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy music, of course I do. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy films, of course I do. But the other 2 things just, they really captivate me, and I think it's because I want that long-term relationship with someone, even if it is a fictional character in a series. We'll talk about films because I actually gave no film a 9 out of 10 rating this year. I rate all my films on IMDb and all my books on Goodreads. I'll link my Goodreads below, but I'm not going to link my IMDb. Don't know if that's even a thing. I gave no film a 9 out of 10 this year, or a 10 out of 10. I don't know if I've ever given a film a 10 out of 10. Maybe. My number 1 film, I would say, is Where the Crawdads Sing. I had read the book. It's kind of like a mystery romance based in the US. It's about a girl who lives in a marsh and whose mother leaves, and I really struggle to not give spoilers, so I'm just gonna leave it there. I read the book years ago now, maybe 2020 I think, and as soon as I saw that there was a film coming up, I was really excited, and I went with Mike and my cousin, and I was a bit unsure if Mike would enjoy it, but luckily he did. My cousin and I cried from beginning to end. The cinema was packed and I didn't know what to do with myself, but I cried so much. But I'm a crier anyway, so is my cousin, so that doesn't mean very much. It doesn't mean that you'll necessarily cry, it just means that we are definitely criers. And I just really enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it. The other 2 that I've written down, 3 that I've written down to mention, I've kind of been watching slightly like older films that I hadn't seen. So we really enjoyed Freedom Writers, Good Will Hunting, and Up. I hadn't seen Up either, and Mike was like, oh my god, Up is one of the best Disney films, like you have to watch it. So we did. There's like a sad part really early on in Up. I feel like everyone's seen Up. It was like, I think it comes in at like 9 minutes from the beginning, and we had to stop because I was crying so profusely. And actually I feel like I really enjoyed that film because it got me right in the beginning. So yeah, it was a good film. And then the other one is My Policeman, which with Harry Styles. I am a huge Harry Styles fan, so maybe I'm a bit biased, but actually I think the film may have even been better without Harry Styles, if I'm honest. I don't think it was his best acting job, but I had read My Policeman again a couple of years back, and I'm just really looking forward to it, and it just got a lot of themes that I would really enjoy. I love it. It's based in Brighton. I am hoping to watch Don't Worry Darling at some point, but we just haven't got around to it, and I think that is like somewhat of a dystopian, so dystopian world, so we'll see if I like that or not. If I make some more of these videos, I'm sure I'll be talking about that in the coming months. In contrast, I gave lots of series 9s and I gave lots of series 8s. I kind of want to talk about both. We'll start with 9s. So I rewatched Gilmore Girls kind of recently. I probably started in October, November, like everyone does. You start in the fall. I just loved it. It was exactly what I needed, and I don't regret one little bit rewatching it. It was just that hug that I needed in the fall, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you haven't watched Gilmore Girls, I would definitely recommend it. I'm not saying it's not a little bit outdated, of course it is. If you can kind of like look past that somewhat, it's just so enjoyable. I even think Mike enjoyed it to a certain degree. He didn't watch it like I did. He definitely watched a bit of it with me and secretly enjoyed it, I think. If you have seen it, it's definitely a great rewatch, especially if you haven't seen it in a while. I don't know if I could watch it again next year, but maybe the year after, or who knows, maybe next year. Depends how I'm feeling. Then From Scratch was on Netflix. It's about an American girl who falls in love with an Italian guy, and then he has some health issues, and it's exploring that. It is heartbreaking, but really loved it. And again, I cried. I don't think there's ever been anything on here that I haven't cried to. Maybe the Sheerluxe podcast I haven't cried to, and I probably have. I can't confirm that I haven't cried to Parenting Hell, because it's possible, even if it is a comedy. The Sunrise Turned Pretty, that's on Amazon. I was really unsure about it, and I have recommended it to other people, but the main character is a 16-year-old girl, and I think that's put other people off because it is a romance, but I just really enjoyed it. Although I probably don't relate that much to a 16-year-old girl. She is almost half my age. I still really enjoyed it. Heartstopper, just loved it. It's on Netflix. I don't know if it's gonna be season 2, but it's about a boy kind of like finding his own sexuality and just kind of everything that people go through, just anything that kind of 16-year-olds go through at school, based in the UK, which again I typically do really like. So those are my 9s out of 10s, and then 8 out of 10s I'll just talk about very quickly. Emily in Paris, I don't care if people think it's trivial. It is trivial, but sometimes I think that's okay. And with Emily in Paris, I just really enjoy it. And if there's another season, I am definitely watching it. I watched it in basically sitting between Christmas and New Year, or maybe just like pre-Christmas. I think it came out like 2 days before Christmas, and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And if you're looking for something just light and easy, it's great. I also recently watched Love Life season 2. I'd seen season 1 on BBC. I think it is one, if you don't have Netflix or anything like that, you can still watch this on the BBC if you're in the UK for free, which is great. I didn't love season 1, like it was okay, but I probably wouldn't have necessarily recommended it in a video, whereas season 2 I really enjoyed. As the name suggests, it's about a guy and his love life. I think we don't often see it from a male perspective. Just generally, I enjoy this sort of series, so I enjoyed it. Another one, which is a book, is Flatshare. I watched it on Paramount Plus. I got a 1-week trial and I watched it in like a day and a half. It was just great. I read the book again a couple of years ago. Not that similar to the book, I don't think, but still very enjoyable. And if you've read the book or just looking for something light to watch, Flatshare, great. It's about a girl and a guy who live in London, and London is very expensive, and so they're looking for something more affordable, and they end up sharing a bed rather than flat sharing, which is like the norm. But he works in an old people's home, so he sleeps in the bed during the day while she's out at work, and she sleeps in the bed during the night at like a normal time. Obviously their lives collide somehow. I really enjoyed it, and again based in London, which automatically gives it like 6-7 points, I would say. So really enjoyed that. And then my final recommendation for series is Chesapeake Shore. It's not really one that I've heard that many people talk about it, but I again have really enjoyed it, and there's been new seasons this year. Kind of like Gilmore Girl vibes, but it's more about a whole family, quite like a big extended family, but really recommend it. And I actually just remembered that one of my favourite series of all time, they had a season 5 come out this year, which was The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend it. Honestly, season 5 wasn't as good as the other seasons in my opinion, but as a whole it is an excellent series. It's on Amazon and I just love it. It's about a Jewish female comedian. Her husband kind of tries to be a comedian, it doesn't really work out, and so she kind of accidentally becomes a comedian. You kind of find that out in like the first episode or two, so I feel like I'm not giving away too much, but just a great, light but still somewhat serious. I cannot tell you how much I love The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I just think it's excellent, and I think everyone I recommend it to is like, oh look, I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy it, but they do. I thought I'd just kind of finish with mentioning the programmes that we really love on TV. It is kind of hard because I can't really remember what we watched in January, but generally we really like Gogglebox. If you're in the UK, I have seen this on Netflix, but honestly I don't think it makes sense on Netflix. It makes sense to watch it on Channel 4 Friday evening because it's a great place to watch, to get recommendations as to what you should watch. And if you don't know what Gogglebox is, how do you not know what Gogglebox is, especially if you live in the UK? But it's basically you watch people watch TV, which sounds like a crap premise, but it's excellent. You really get to know the people. We just love Gogglebox, to be honest. It's always a great way to like find new series, new films, new programs to watch. So we love Gogglebox and it's one of the highlights of our week, I would say. We love House of Games. We kind of like those sort of shows. It's on BBC 2, I think. It is something that we kind of like watch daily, like whilst we're having our dinner we'll catch up on that if there's nothing else. We're not religious with it, but we do really enjoy it. We also really enjoy Only Connect, which is something I thought I would never say, but it's kind of like lateral thinking, so I don't think you have to be super smart like you do with University Challenge, and basically we get like one question right a season, an episode, but still we love it. And then finally I love Taskmaster. Even if you're not in the UK, like just catch up on Taskmaster on YouTube. Yeah, we really just enjoy it. And actually no, we don't enjoy it, I enjoy it. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Do like it if you enjoyed it. My camera battery is very much flashing, so I need to run.